Hello, I think we are live now. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Welcome to another episode of the Semrush series SEO and PPC Yin and Yang. This is actually the third episode of the series, and in today's episode, it's all about e-commerce. Whether it's a big online shop or a small retailer, they all need web traffic at some point. And what's more important, they need sales and revenue to keep their business running. And which marketing channel works better than search engine marketing? And here, whether it's paid or organic, they both are usually the main traffic drivers for e-commerce websites. And in today's episodes, we will discuss about which one maybe works a little better, or how both can be used in an integrated strategy. But first, a few words to myself. I am Halide Epcinoglu. I will be hosting this webinar today. I'm the co-founder of the international SEM and SEO agency Cubics Digital, and I'm also running a project called Women Digital, a community to support women working in online marketing. I work in this industry for about 15 years now, and I'm really happy to host this Semrush webinar series, as my goal was always to bring like SEOs and PPCs work together to benefit from each other's expertise, because I think that most of the times both teams don't know how much they have in common. For example, if you look at in-house teams or agencies, most of the time, SEO and paid marketing departments are separated and usually have nothing to do with each other. And I think this needs to change. And hopefully, this webinar can contribute at least a little bit toward this goal. I have two experts today who will hopefully support this and will prove my point that SEOs and PPCs are actually friends working towards the same goal and not against each other. So my first guest is Mike Wachowski. Sorry for the pronunciation, but it's really, really difficult. It's even more difficult than my surname. My surname is Epcinoglu. But your surname is Wachowski. I hope I pronounced it well.
Wachowski. Okay. It's a tough one. It's Smith in Poland.
Okay. So Mike is a senior director at Tinuiti, one of the largest independent performance marketing agencies serving the triopoly of Google, Facebook, and Amazon. He co-founded the shopping and feed division there. With the growth of e-commerce, Tinuiti was one of the first agencies to build out a team of experts exclusively dedicated to PPC shopping data feeds and shopping ads. So if you have any questions regarding shopping ads, I think Mike is the expert to ask. He lives and works in Seattle right now, but also lived in Austin, Chicago, Philadelphia, Spain, San Francisco. So quite a few cities.
Yes.
And in his spare time, he reads too many books, eats too many tacos, and writes music sometimes. He even has an album on Spotify. So if you bug him about it, maybe he can share it with you.
Spotify SEO tips. Maybe Luke can help out too. So
okay,
we'll see.
Exactly. Luke is my second guest today. He is an e-commerce growth consultant with 12 years experience in strategy, conversion, and search, and who parks his butt right between SEO, UX, and CRO. So CRO is conversion rate optimization. Having worked in a number of in-house e-commerce and SEO agency roles, including product owner, SEO lead, and account manager, Luke is obsessed with working with people, data, tech to deliver tangible and core growth for businesses. And he's actually obsessed with fragrance. He has a huge collection. So he says if this freelance gig doesn't work out, he's planning to work for the fragrance shop, enjoying all the free samples then.
Why not, right?
So you're one of the guys who spend a lot of time in the duty-free shops at airports and and check all the fragrances.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
So what's your most favorite fragrance then?
Oh wow. Okay. We haven't got time. Honestly, it'll take me half an hour to work it out.
Really? Oh my God.
I've got loads.
Okay.
So
we can do another webinar session about this then. Okay. So Luke and Mike has prepared some presentation about e-commerce in SEO and e-commerce and PPC. We will start with Luke first. And hopefully we will get some nice and helpful insights. Yeah,
let's see what happens. This is almost like a bit of a rap battle between with slides, right? Like a really cool rap battle. So e-com SEO versus paid search. I'm going to jump straight into this. And so first of all, the big filthy stereotype that I hear frequently, I think I've even seen it in the comments on the run up to this webinar, is PPC is like quick wins and SEO is all about long-term strategy and all of that good stuff. And I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Because the reason why I say I'm not so sure is you can net quick wins in both PPC and SEO. I mean, sure, PPC, you can probably see a return in maybe an hour, maybe even sooner. But in SEO, you can probably see a return or at least a change or an uplift in maybe as little as 24 to 48 hours, right? Let's not try and pretend that SEO is always this big, slow, 3-month quarterly turn-in thing. So as I said, you can net growth in both. But jumping straight into the rap battle of this situation, here's what I really don't like about PPC, okay? And maybe, Mike, you can relate to some of this stuff as well, but it's pay to play. It is what it is. It's in the name. It's pay per click, right? So if you've got no money, you can't play in this space. And I think many stakeholders, many clients are all about ROI. It's all about the constant return on that spend you have. And that's kind of sometimes makes it difficult because sometimes you maybe need to see the bigger picture with things like display, things about, sort of acquisition of a brand and building a brand. And that's not always easy to do when you're in the world of paid search. And that kind of stitches onto my point that budget really is absolutely everything when it comes to paid search. If you have a really broad, almost like a bottomless pit, if you like, of cash, then that's great. But in reality, that never really happens. And people want more and more for their money, which makes things tricky. And I think quality score is a big deal. I'm hoping they haven't changed the name of that because that's the last time I remember it being a quality score. But yeah, it's a big deal. Name. Still got the same name. All right, cool. But constantly chasing perfection in that space to try and get the most efficient money out of paid search. But here's the crux of PPC, and this is why I don't personally dig it too much. Google's happy to take your money if your site doesn't work. All right, like that's the thing. If your page 404s, if it times out, if it doesn't work, if it's got the wrong content on, hey, you're still going to have to pay for that click, man. And you may realize after a day or 2 days, but the point is when you compound this over a number of days or a number of URLs, that's a potentially expensive problem. But to even out the playing field, I've also added things I don't like about SEO, all right? Because I don't want the PPC crew literally sending me death threats in my LinkedIn DMs. So,
thank you, Luke. Thank you. That's important.
No problem. No problem. So SEO, it's considered free traffic, and it absolutely isn't. I mean, yes, it doesn't have a direct cost, but sure, you've got people, recruitment, time, development, resources. It's not free traffic. Its value can be challenging for stakeholders to work out, simply because it can be perceived as slow, or because the returns aren't necessarily immediate, and because it's quite technical. It takes a certain type of person or a certain personality to be able to speak the language in the boardroom and then speak the technical language to developers and product owners. And no, SEO is not finished. There will never be a point where for a site, SEO is done and we can just sack everyone in paid search or move that budget away from the agency. It's something that lives and breathes all of the time. So these are kind of the 4 big things that I hate about SEO. And this isn't just exclusive to e-com, this is SEO in general. But I think even more sensitive in e-com because, things are granular, they're moving around all the time. Now, Here is one of my first really controversial slides, okay? But in my opinion, PPC makes Google money, and I don't think anyone can dispute that. And I personally feel that SEO makes Google better. And I'm going to explain the difference here. So this is one of my favorite things when I think about paid search. So there's kind of like the trap, okay? Now, Google account managers, you can love them, you can hate them. It depends on whereabouts you are and your relationship with them. But I don't remember having a situation when I'm working on SEO for a client and me getting a nice friendly phone call from Google to say, hey, you want to talk about maximizing your SEO campaign? That doesn't happen. Unless you've got money to spend, Google doesn't give a damn about you. But the funny thing is, Google is powered by what we do. Like, websites are important, whether you pay or whether you're organic. So anyone with a wad of cash can pay to play, all right? Anyone with a lot of money can pay to be at the top of Google, but you have to earn the right to be the best query for that particular search, search result. And that's hard. That is really hard for both us as SEOs and also as Google and other search engines to work out who deserves the right to be there, because we know it's more than just links. We know it's more than just brand. It's important. There's a lot of stuff, which is why we have a load of algo updates, right? So if you want traffic fast, we need Google, right? But for Google to understand who is best and why, then Google needs us. Google needs SEOs. And there's a lot of different elements we really haven't got the time to go into. You can go down a rabbit hole just on this slide alone, but this is really, really important. So yeah, SEOs and PPC should work. No, all right. I hear this all of the time. Literally, I think the webinar started with this, which is like, SEOs and PPC should work better together. But let's be honest, SEO and PPC is not new. It's been here for decades. And yet we still have the same problem that SEO is on that side of the office in that building and paid search is in this side of the building or in that agency, right? Clearly, something's wrong. But what I will say is that, yes, Khalid, you're not wrong. And Mike, you're not wrong. It needs to happen. But I want to take it a step further. All right. As someone who has been a product owner and has worked in-house in a number of roles, I don't think SEOs and PPCs working together is enough. I just don't. I think product owners need to get involved as well. And whether you kind of call them product owners or devs or IT or whatever, right? The people who hold the keys to what gets deployed on a website. And in this example, I'm going to call them product owners. So if this happens, if this triangle of digital love happens, right, then you're in a situation where we can start to work on things like, hey, let's work with products to get the data to start bidding on things that are out of stock, because literally no one can buy anything if it's not in stock, but you've paid for the click. Like I said, Google will take your money, all right? So that's important. Secondly, people in paid search can be in a situation where they start spending money on clearance items. Because when you think about it, an item's clearance for a reason. It's because demand is low or it's because availability is too high. But whatever it is, typically people don't want these sort of things. So when something's in clearance, the price has typically been reduced. The margin, therefore, isn't there. So why would you then make it worse by adding paid search spend on top of something that may already have no margin, you may be already making a loss on? You can potentially get rid of that, just let organic do its thing. When someone searches organically for that very poignant product, that very specific item, hey, they'll buy it. Pay search people can be in a situation where, and this one I personally love, hence the flame emoji, which side am I on? Because internal search is super powerful, right? Like super powerful. So everyone's using like keyword research tools, which are important, right? But your most important keyword research tool that is context driven, that is customer driven, that has no bounds to how much data they give you is right in front of your face. So can you use that information and pump that into paid search? Have a conversation with your product teams and get access to that information if you don't already have it. Perfect. But equally, SEO teams can do better as well, because we can work with the guys in PPC to identify the items that haven't been indexed and to be in a situation where we work with them. Right. So, hey, look, we've got 60,000 items in our index, but there's 350, maybe 500, maybe 5,000 products that haven't been indexed. Hey, can we fill that gap with PPC on those specific items to get them to sell? It's a conversation we could have. We could be in a situation where variations that don't rank organically because they're blocked or canonicalized or whatever. And so, for example, you may have an organic ranking for, I don't know, men's V-neck t-shirt. However, the color and the size is not going to ever rank because they're not being indexed. So this is where paid search comes in, where you've got red, pink, blue, green, your sizes, your fit, all that sort of good stuff. But on top of that, we can work with both PPC and product teams to reduce the bids on promotional items. They're on promotion. So unless they're funded by somebody, by a brand, then you're in a situation where your margin has already been squeezed. So don't squeeze it any further by, on top of that, using paid search to burn more margin, right? And if they're on promotion, there's a good chance they're going to be promoted anyway via email, via the homepage, via social. You don't need to go and spend more money on those items on paid search. So, and I think this is one of my final points, but this is one I personally love. Imagine being in a situation where SEO, product, and PPC teams can be in a room and say, hey, how can we rank well and how can we generate ROI for X? And X can be anything. X can be Black Friday campaign. X can be new brand rollout. X can be a new website. X can be as broad or as narrow as you want. But having the power to have the keys to dev, the keys to SEO, and the keys to paid search all in a single spot is what needs to happen. This is what we need. So instead of being like this and being frustrated and on the phone to your account managers or your boss screaming at you and kind of like, you know, why didn't we think about this? Why are we wasting money here? Why have we been spending £5,000 on items that are out of stock this week? Let's be like this. All right, let's just hug it out. Let's just me and Mike just get on a webinar and just talk about how we can make things better. This is the slide right here. This is the one I'm most proud of the whole webinar.
Thank you, Mike.
That's my argument.
Thank you. This is really great. I mean, this is really a proof of that SEOs and PPCs are friends, like real friends.
Yeah.
We should use this slide more often.
We should.
So you actually underlined my statement that PPCs and SEOs should work more together, definitely. But there are also some, you know, some areas where they, you know, should do their own thing. But
I just think it's not enough. I just think SEOs and PPCs aren't enough. It's not enough because both of us need development integrations. Both of us need help beyond our own channel. So just getting us to work together is I don't think it's comprehensive enough. I mean, I've lived it, I've breathed it. I'm sure Mike's in the same situation. And yeah, we can sit around a table, but nothing really gets done until you involve the key holders to development and change.
And here actually, like something which connects also SEO and PPC is also like CRO, conversion rate optimization and usability, because this is something where both teams like SEOs and PPCs can benefit from or work also together. So I think this is also a very important issue.
Yeah, for sure.
So Mike, if you want to go ahead with your presentation.
Yeah, sure.
And
let's for teeing me up, Luke. That's great.
It's all right, man. Brilliant.
So let's see how.
Great.
Wait.
All right. Can you guys see it?
Great.
I can.
Yes.
I see.
Perfect. So I am 100% in belief that we should all be friends for PPC and SEO. I think after you work in this industry for long enough, the idea that you're in competition with someone else who's on the other side of the office is absurd. You know, I've seen people shift their focus dozens of times working in online advertising. There's too many things for us to work on. So I'm going to go into a little bit on how shopping ads on the SERP actually have a lot more in common with what SEO marketers are doing in their day-to-day work. And hopefully it'll give us some opportunities to at least know what's going on the other side and be able to work more closely together. So this is just your regular search results page, and that text that on the bottom is really the historical way we thought of Google's paid search ads, that keyword driven, ad copy. I would say right now, the biggest ad for us looking in our space in e-commerce, that ad type is driving a ton of brand awareness and brand recall and brand lift. It has that keyword rich copy. It's highlighting promotions. You see all those extensions. I would say the step up top, that is where you're getting all your new customers. Shopping ads are blowing up across Google. They've taken away text ads share of the SERP. They've taken away organic ads share of the SERP. They've come above the fold. They're on mobile. You could expand them and get 20 or 30 of them. It's also what my team at my agency focuses on and what I've been working on for the last, I guess, 9 years since Google actually made them paid and not free. It used to be called frugal, which, all-timer from Google's end. But really what I want to talk about with shopping ads is that the basis of the way that shopping ads work is very similar to what you're doing in terms of good e-commerce SEO. So when you think of keyword research, keyword stuffing, doing like reporting on certain keyword rich descriptions, that's all something that we're doing for shopping ads on the e-commerce side as well. So you can see in this example here, Google Shopping product titles on the right, and then the title tags on the left from an SEO standpoint. So basically, behind the scenes, you have your HTML markup, getting all your SEO juice into that page to get Google to crawl what you need to rank higher, right? For Google Shopping ads, we have this product data feed that I think a lot of e-commerce companies spend time on trying to troubleshoot, trying to just get it to work. So it's more of a functional thing, like, hey, we have all this information, how do we get it to Google? But they don't really think of their product information in terms of an SEO mindset, where you can see that the titles that are in this example are not great titles. It might be what you call your product in your inventory system and in your backend system. That's what you submit to Google. You got to stop doing that. You need to think in the same way you think of SEO in terms of enriching your keywords and your titles and your description. The same way you think about that, you need to put that into your product data feeds that you're sending to Google for PPC ads. So I'm going to give you a very common example that I see all the time. We work with a lot of fashion clients, and they tend to have a ton of crazy names for colors. So in this example from Madewell, the color they have there is Wisteria Dove. So I don't think that if you look at the keyword research for people searching for Wisteria Dove, you're going to find much there. I don't think that is a good use of information to give Google. And when you look at the results page, all of the advertisers that are in this first position actually have pink in the titles. They do not have Wisteria Dove. So one change that you can make between SEO and PPC is looking at things that you have on your website in your internal systems that don't make sense to just copy and paste and send out to Google. You should be optimizing these for user intent, what people are actually searching for, so Google will reward you. The color is a pretty easy example, but there's more nuance to this than you might imagine. One of our clients sells girls' t-shirts, and someone on my team decided to run a test because they were looking at some of the data, some of the search query reporting data that we have for paid search, and saying, man, it seems like these products are actually doing really well for people searching for women's shirts, not people searching for girl shirts. So what we did was we ran a test in our product feed to change out all the instances of girls with instances of women's in the title. It may seem very nuanced, but what it showed us is that we are meeting customers where they are. We already saw that the volume was there for this term for us to go get it. And once we implemented that, we were able to improve the impressions, the click-through rate, and most importantly, the conversion rate. So you can run these types of tests all the time, and it's an easy way to share information back and forth between SEO and PPC. Going into the next section for you guys, I think a lot of times we focus on keywords across SEO, across PPC. It's what we're obsessed with, right? We're doing the research, we're seeing what search queries match to keywords. It's just the way we think when we're sitting with this stuff a lot. But there's really a lot of benefit to thinking in terms of products and merchandising and product teams and release schedules. So some key examples I have in here for you is do some searches. You know, if you search generic terms on Google, is your most popular product showing up? Why not? Do some digging to figure that out. When you look at, you know, what you're showing up on the SERP, are you using audience targeting? One of the benefits of PPC and shopping in particular is that you can actually influence which types of customers get shown a certain product. A lot of times we just layer audiences onto our ad campaigns and say, I want to bid more on people who've been to my website, but it might be great to figure out what products I actually want to show people who've been to my website. Then looking at price point, which I know Luke mentioned a bunch, we actually do a lot of testing around loss leader strategies, which basically means, you know, we have this space on the SERP where we notice that there's a lot of people competing on price, and there's certain search terms that we just want to go after and offer our lowest price products to get people onto our website and shop around. That is a strategy that we've seen work, and then we've also seen blow up on us. So it's certainly an interesting area to test. And then similarly with clearance, we do get some client demands that, hey, I have all this merchandise, we're about to hit a new season, and I need a marketing channel that's going to be able to go after this. You know, what's a cost-effective way to do this? So obviously, it would be great to be able to go after it with SEO because it's free, as Luke mentioned. But for us, with shopping ads, we actually see that of all the acquisition channels that our clients are using, it's one of the lowest cost per click opportunities that they have. We usually see it's about half the cost of text ads and much cheaper than what you're getting from display ads that are super targeted. So for us, we have these levers in terms of an e-commerce mindset. One of the clients that I got to work on in the beginning of my career sold party supplies. I learned a lot from this business in terms of merchandising and seasonality and thinking like a retailer, not just thinking about someone who knows a lot about advertising online. So these are some pretty good examples of nuance. You may look at the keyword party supplies all year and see the performance, but are you showing different content based on what time of the year someone is searching for party supplies? So you may be showing party supplies in October that are not relevant. It may make some sense to push products in your paid shopping campaigns for Halloween related party supplies to show up for broader terms like this. And also from a merchandising standpoint, our clients' merchandising teams get so excited when we tell them that we're doing tests like this, or we tell them that all those boring red plates where you look at those throughout every other month of the year and nobody's paying attention to that product, nobody's thinking about how that product is doing. Not only are we going to advertise those products more during a holiday season like Christmas, but we're also going to change our metadata in our product feed to add keyword-rich holiday creative that makes us show up on the search more, not only when someone searches for party supplies, but when they search for holiday party supplies, Christmas party supplies. Those generic red plates are going to do a lot of business. And then lastly, we do a lot of things with audiences on PPC to really get our customers further along the funnel. So a lot of the feedback we get from our clients is shopping ads, PPC ads, they have a high bounce rate. I'm paying all this money to send someone to my site and they're leaving the page as soon as they get there. But you have a lot of levers to improve that bounce rate once you're sending someone to your website. So in this instance, someone's just searching for party supplies, But if I've already got that user cookied on my website, maybe they created an account, and I know that they've been shopping for wedding supplies for an hour, I can use Google's levers to say, all right, I want to show wedding party supplies for this customer, not just regular party supplies. So all these levers are not looking at search query performance reports and saying, all right, it's all about the keywords. It's thinking about what's going on behind everything you're doing, what's going on with the client's product set, what's going on with seasonality and merchandising, and all these things that can actually connect you with your clients if you're an agency, or if you're at a client, connect you with the other teams that work with you. You know, sending this type of information to your product teams, the people who are buying the products, it really excites them and brings you into the conversation in a way that does not always happen when they look at you and say, oh, you do the online keyword stuff that I don't understand. So I would advise all of you to try and think of strategies like this that can work with merchandising teams. So lastly, just some advice. I would say that Luke's point about it's a struggle for us to figure out ways that we, even if we're in the same room, how we're going to work together. I think that's the hard part. So the way I've been able to get around it is figuring out ways to save time. So working toward each other's 80-20 rule. You know, you're always looking at too much data for SEO, for PPC. There's an immense amount that you could get lost in. But making these shortcuts and saying, all right, like what do I want to see in a shared dashboard between what I'm doing on SEO and what I'm doing on PPC? So you're looking at keywords, you're looking at search queries, you're looking at top products, you're looking at things that are moving, what's getting worse, what's getting better. And then I think a very important thing that we've started doing more for our clients, for us as a company, is looking at new products, where I think there's a lot more juice coming out of SEO when you're really trying to have a new product launch strategy to go after keywords, get that organic traffic to bring attention to new products. But there's all these opportunities to work more closely together on how those new products are doing for PPC as well. You know, we might have some insights on the PPC side from launching a new product, especially if it's not doing well, to tell the SEO side, like, hey, if you have an 8-week plan of what you're doing for this new product, we've already seen some of these strategies on PPC, and don't waste your time. You know, like that kind of stuff has helped us a lot.
I like all of that, man. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and then once you have that shared dashboard, so like people like Luke and I can look at the same stuff, I feel like the next roadblock becomes that you have a lot of cool data to look at, but nobody ever does anything with it. So this is the way we think about our business, our clients' businesses, how we think about working with each other, is that I really just don't need a bunch of reports. I need reports that make things happen. So all the stuff that we do is about accountability, where when we have those top keyword reports, the top mover reports, I create them in a way that I can export them to Google and say, all right, here are the changes I'm making based on that report. Or I create them in a way that I could say, here are the changes I'm going to make to my titles and my description based on information that I'm getting from the SEO team. So it just sets this expectation that we're not just sharing information, we're not just meeting once a month, we're not just doing this nice thing. It's actually doing something. It's getting us into running tests. So these are a couple ideas of tests that we've been able to successfully execute in the past. I think, you know, a lot of it is being able to send information back and forth in a way that you can actually process. So things like SEO site updates, where an SEO team might be working on site updates 10 times harder than anyone on the PPC side. There is a lot more at stake, and all of those updates, they get done, they look great on the site, and then none of that information ever makes it into your advertising product feed. There's no reason for all that great work that the SEO team is doing to just sit there and not be shared to the advertising team. And vice versa. A lot of times we take over a client's advertising product feed and we spend weeks and weeks optimizing their feed titles and feed descriptions and all of their content. And then we never think to say, all right, well, you know, the SEO team is meeting to go over their quarterly goals for the next year. Maybe we should send them the things that we've done that have made an impact on our titles and our descriptions. maybe this will help influence what they're doing, what they want to accomplish. And then the last thing, Search Console reports, this is a relatively new function, but Google is doing a lot more to make the product feeds that we use for advertising also available for SEO purposes and in terms of rich stuff on the SERP. So they just released a popular products section on the search engine real estate now that is all powered by SEO metadata and advertising product feeds. So there's all these opportunities with the Search Console reports to be able to say, all right, I want to see how products are doing across PPC and SEO, and then be able to make changes and track the overall impact. I think that is all I've got to go over with you guys.
Sounds cool, man.
Thank you very much, Mike. That was really lots of information, lots of inside knowledge about shopping feed and shopping ads specifically. I mean, shopping ads are a great ad format, and I think it's a huge and massive traffic driver for e-commerce websites. In some cases, even more than organic results, I'm sure, because like it looks fancy, it looks like with the images, with the pricing, with like the promotions, and it comes on the top of the page. It can really be very efficient. But I mean, on the other side, I mean, you can see directly in Google Ads the revenue, the sale, like which campaign, which ad format, which keyword is bringing how much revenue. And I think this is a bit tricky because people think, wow, Google Ads works so well because I got so much revenue from these keywords, from these ad types. But on the other side, organic traffic is also contributing to revenue and sales. But I mean, you cannot really see it, like, because you cannot see a revenue on a keyword level or like on any campaign level or something. And I think this is sometimes a bit tricky because they need to work together, and they usually work together. As you said, for shopping ads, for example, it's very, very important to have an optimized product title, to have an optimized image search, for example, images on your website to get successful shopping campaigns with a good performance. But usually people don't see it, They think, okay, my shopping ads, my Google Ads campaigns work well, and I got so much revenue from that. But on the other side, they don't know that it's actually the back. It's SEO work, which really feeds the shopping ad campaigns performance,
Yeah, I mean,
it's really, really tricky. I think one thing that this webinar so far, I think, has highlighted is where, like PPC, I know it's only like an hour and it's difficult to kind of talk about everything about both disciplines, but I think the difference between PPC and SEO is SEO, as we speak about all the time, is beyond the SERP. So we talk, as SEO, we talk about content, we talk about UX, we talk about web design, we talk about user journey. And I'm not to say that PPC doesn't, but I think one of the big stereotypes right here is that PPC is all about what happens up until the point of the click. And SEO is all about what happens up until the click on the SERP. When actually SEO has had to evolve, because like Halit said earlier, trying to identify where the money's come from for organic is difficult. But this goes back to a point I made before the call, which is like SEOs are just closer to product teams than paid search people are, because we need to think about integrating schema. We need to think about content plans. We need to think about UX designs and all this sort of stuff that potentially paid search aren't necessarily interested in or have the remit to control. But this is kind of where I think paid search needs to evolve, where paid search is just as powerful or just as impactful or just as interested in post-click as what SEO has to be now. Because if SEO is just focused on rankings and SERPs, then we have no business model. SEO is all about now UX. It's all about customer surveys. It's all about feedback. In fact, SEO is probably not even SEO anymore. It's S for what, I don't even know what it is, but the acronym doesn't fit anymore because it's not just about search engine. It's traffic on to traffic off. And I think if paid search, could think about how SEO has evolved and leveraged that. So rather than just thinking about redefining how you drive keywords and redefining how you drive traffic and redefining how you engage and better leverage budgets, actually forget all that. Let's not spend any money yet and think about the actual user experience. Think about the customer. Why are they even here? And I know, Mike, you touched on some of these points before, but I think it's deeper than that. And this is where I think products must come in. Before anyone's even looking at any kind of keyword tool, you've got to work out what it is the customer wants. And as SEOs who are just obsessed with the SERP and not what happens post-click. But if you want to be successful in this industry, you have to think about way before that, way before.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. I mean, I think we've done a lot more in the last couple of years thinking about landing page testing, CRO testing, and then, we have some clients that have hundreds of thousands of products. So their SEO team isn't focusing on everything at once. They're picking products that they want to work with a copywriter to, enhance. And we're now saying, all right, well, we have all this data. Well, we're sending, thousands and thousands of clicks to the same type of page, a product page. If your SEO team is working on these 20 products, then how does that impact what we're doing from an ad perspective? Is it going to, maybe the strategy for us isn't, here are the ways that we're going to save you money doing these things with campaigns. It's actually taking learnings from tests you're doing on product pages and saying, all right, let's evolve on that for the traffic that we're sending and really enhancing that experience post-click. So a lot of the landing page testing and CRO opportunities that you're working on more closely from an SEO standpoint, we don't see that as much from a PPC side, but we're reaping the benefits and making sure that we're being brought into the conversation and saying, well, actually, we can get you a lot of cheap traffic to test this out and see if it's working, or if you want to A/B test certain things you're trying to decide on, let's just send traffic to it. We have all test controls set up, and this will help you guys have data. I think it's very important for us, and it has been a hurdle.
I think maybe one of the biggest ways in which paid search and SEOs can work together is in the reporting, right? So if you think about like a typical board meeting or like a scrum meeting or whatever in the world of SEO and PPC, the question always is, what are we doing for SEO this month? Or what have we returned from SEO this quarter, this year? And what have we done for paid search? So we ask the same question to two separate teams, when it should be collectively, what have we achieved via Google or via any of the search engines? This way, it's rather than kind of thinking, because the way obviously Google Analytics does is all about last click attribution, right? So if someone discovered a brand via organic and then 7 days later clicks an email and then they search for the brand and click the paid ad for that brand keyword, then hey, who gets the glory? It's paid search, right? And naturally, you're going to be in a situation where you count that because you need to justify your ROI. While with organic, we're like, we're looking at traffic, we're looking at graphs, we're looking at trends. We're not necessarily looking at the investment immediately on ROI. But if in a boardroom or if to the C-suite, we're saying, let's talk about the return on search engine efforts, not SEO and PPC, because that way no one's really forced to think about, oh, we've got this is mine, I'm keeping this is paid search, we can see it in GA, therefore it's mine, and SEO thinking, no, I can see this in GA, therefore this is mine. This is just traffic. This is not, shouldn't be divided by pillar, because GA doesn't report on it properly anyway, let's be honest. It's just, it's frankly terrible. So why are we looking at it by channel? When, let's be honest, if it's money in the till, it's money in the till. It doesn't matter really where it came from, although it'd be nice to know. So let's forget about channels and let's just think about actual money in the till and how we can make that better. And I think that might get rid of some of the behaviors of just thinking, no, we're team PPC and we've got this, and we're team SEO and no, we've got this.
Yeah, that's so true. And once you really overcome this problem and work together as one team and put all the channels together, I think then you just rock it, and you can prove the company and also your clients that, I mean, it's a teamwork from PPCs, SEOs, dev teams, product teams, strategists, management, or whatever. So everyone needs to be involved to be successful. It's not only PPC, although usually in the reports it says, well, paid search ads or paid PPC ads are bringing the most revenue, but everybody needs to be aware that it's really like a teamwork of different departments. And once you really solve this problem in contributing revenue and traffic just to one channel, I think then you will win the game. I have a question to you, Mike, as you also have some experience in not only Google, also like Amazon and Facebook and other search engines. What do you think is the main difference between doing SEO PPC for Google and any other search engines or platforms?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd say on Amazon, the biggest difference, which is in the news a lot now, how Amazon's ad business has been growing, is Amazon sort of has a hybrid of Google's text ads and product ads. And also, they're doing all the conversion rate optimization, and they're doing all the, the landing page testing on Amazon. So I think the changes that we've seen in the past year or two is that Google has evolved their Google Shopping PPC platform to also have a buy on Google button, their own Amazon-like marketplace. So I think Amazon's going to become more like Google. Google's going to become more like Amazon. They both want what each other has, which is more customers. And I think we've seen this happen with other platforms as well, where Instagram and Facebook are rolling out a frictionless checkout program where you can check out directly within the app. So all of a sudden, all the advertising that we're talking about, sending traffic to a website, it's actually just going to a platform. So it's going to customers who are staying on Instagram. And, I think that's going to be a new change that we'll have to really take note of, especially for our clients who are spending a lot of investment on SEO and site enhancement and, revamps. Is the cost worth it to send traffic somewhere else, even if you're going to make a lot more money? I think that's a big, upcoming PPC battle between us and the other platforms. I'd also say that, Google has a lot more data. They've obviously been doing it a lot longer. So, doing, for instance, something like Pinterest PPC campaigns, they're great. We're going to test them out for clients. We're going to try and get some incremental revenue, but we know that reporting is going to be tough. And our expectations are going to be lower because of that, where Google is way ahead of their competitors in terms of really, really drilling down on what's working, what's not working, where a lot of the other platforms, it's a lot of data to maintain, especially if you have a lot of e-commerce transactions happening on your website, and then all of a sudden you have hundreds of thousands of products or thousands of keywords, to make that happen in a pretty way in the UI in terms of an advertising and PPC perspective has been a challenge, and something that Amazon and Facebook and Pinterest are working to make parity for with Google.
That's true. Thank you. Luke, what do you think? What's the first SEO go-to when it comes to e-commerce?
It's not SEO. The first thing to look at when you think about SEO is to not think about SEO. And I know that sounds crazy because everyone's like, what do you want about SEO should be baked into the core of the website? But bear with me. Think about it, square one, okay? So whether it's a migration or a brand new brand, what is it you want? What is it you want to achieve? Or what is it your customers want when they come to your site? That's the first thing you think about, because if you go away, so many people jump into the technical, right? They think, right, URL structure, they think IA, they think about internal links, they think about canonicals and hreflang. Don't get me wrong, this is super important stuff. But a hreflang is simply a technology to help with rankings. If your core product and offering and messaging and UX and usability is flawed, then it doesn't matter how rock solid your SEO is, it's never going to work. So you have to really think about what it is your customer wants. And if your customer is all about super exclusive, expensive apparel and clothing, then make it about that. Make your messaging about that. Talk that way. Make it seem exclusive. But equally, if at the opposite end, it's all about, your brand is all about family fashion, right? So sort of cheap jeans for 15, 20 pounds or $20 or wherever you are, like Primark, then speak that language, offer that user experience, offer that web design. Because if you get that wrong, whether it's SEO, PPC, direct email, whatever channel, it's not going to work for you. So that's absolutely the first thing to think about is, what is it you're doing and what is your customer? And they're two really simple questions, but they can be really difficult to answer correctly. And this goes back to my point of technology in the grand scheme of things is relatively easy, but people and identifying who your people are is really, really hard. So it's easy for someone like myself or for Mike to go away and build a really solid SEO structure and a really solid paid search campaign, right? That's got a beautiful sort of CPA or a conversion rate, and it's got a beautiful IA. But if you haven't got the right people, it makes politics hard. And if you haven't got the right message, it makes chasing your customers or finding your customers hard. So it's really important to really understand what it is the heck you want. And I see it wrong so many times. I mean, to give you a perfect example, there's a brand that I work with where if you search for that brand name on their own internal search engine, no results found. Crazy, right? The SEO is brilliant. And they're kind of wondering, why is our traffic plateaued? Why is it kind of, how can we take things to the next level? And I'm like, you don't need more traffic, man. You need to sort out what the heck you have going on, because people are, tens of thousands of people are searching for this brand on a daily basis and they can't find the products they want to buy. That's your problem. Not SEO, not pay click, not email, not, it's all about UX. So work out what it is you want, what your customers want, and go from there.
Yeah, as you said before, like SEO is not really SEO anymore. It's not even S, as you said. Like it's really it's not about ranking. It's not about a position. It's not even maybe about traffic. It's about really understanding the user and working towards the goal to fulfill the needs of the user. And I think here, like whether it's SEO or PPC, call it what you want, they should work towards the same goal, understanding the user first, and then set the marketing strategy or product strategy afterwards.
And if you think about SEO real quick, SEO rewards brands. So if you have a brand, you have SEO. Okay, so if you think about someone like T2 or I'm trying to think of a big brand like Balenciaga, for example, huge brands, right? But they know their customer, they know their product, and because they know their customer and products, they have a brand, and because they have a brand, they have organic reach, and because they have organic reach, they have a business, right? So it's all about knowing your brand is a primary point.
Exactly.
And organic is easy once you've got the brand, which I'm not saying is easy. Building a brand is not easy, but I'm saying once you have a brand and once you have a renowned and solid brand, then SEO is really quite a simple thing to get right, people dependent. So. Sure.
Okay, we have also quite a few questions from our audience. Cool. Ari Nisbet is asking, has anyone explored pulling search keywords from the SERP page using a tool like Keywords Everywhere? If so, would any of these keywords found from an SEO perspective apply to placing within a PPC campaign in order to drive better performance? What do you think?
Yeah, we've done this. So I mean, we haven't used Keywords Everywhere as a tool, but we've used some other proprietary tools that just crawl, top search words. And we've seen it work out pretty well. I mean, for us, it's hard to do it at scale just because you really have to drill down on what you want to get out of it. So we've tried it, but yeah, I would say that the impact has been great. Some of those tests I talked about in terms of adding or changing words in our product titles for shopping, sometimes we're getting that information from what's happening from the reporting from this keyword research to say, all right, I didn't even think to put this word in our title to see if we're gonna, gain more traction from our ads. And we've been using that research to push and get traffic, get more impressions.
I would say to answer that, my first question, which I may understand the question slightly incorrectly, but I'm thinking, if you're already ranking for these keywords, why are you paying for them? Right? Surely it should be the opposite way around, where if you're in a situation where you have really good conversion on certain keywords in paid search, and they're like, hey, look, we're making like 10-fold ROI on these keywords, then surely it should be the opposite way around. How can we rank for those? But I might be misunderstanding that. But the way I'd see it is we want to hear what PPC are doing and what they're doing well on, and what SEO can learn from that, rather than kind of passing free traffic and then making someone pay for it. And I think one of those perfect arguments is paying for a brand. If it's your brand, why are you bidding on it? And I know there's nuances that they won't go off onto because I haven't got much time, but that's one of those perfect cases. If you're ranking page 1 for a brand, why you also paid for it. But there's reasons for and against, which we won't get into.
Yeah, but I think on the other side, like, it's not only about the ranking, it's also how you rank. I mean, I see a lot of results that rank #1, but I mean, the description, the content is not really so well. And with this results, you can really upbeat the performance with Google Ads, for example, with shopping ads, giving some, offers, showcasing the deals, the current deals, or like with nice product features and images. So it really depends. It's not only ranking; it's also depends on the quality of the result. So I think you really need to analyze it very deeply to understand how you should optimize for SEO or PPC side.
We also get some flack sometimes when competitors bid on clients' brand terms. So then an angry CMO emails us and saying, "I'm searching for our brand name. We're showing up down the page for organic, but it's just our competitors' ads showing above us. Like, what are you doing to fix this?" So like, we have had situations like that where there are other reasons, I guess, where people really want to billboard themselves and be showing up,
Yeah.
Okay, we have 5 minutes left, and we have some more questions from the audience. Fahad is asking, for e-commerce website for any product which is sold on different website, the details of product will be the same. Is that risk of duplicate content?
So I think what Fahad may be asking here is like, if you're a brand that resells products from other brands. So like, let's say you sell white goods or a Panasonic TV that's sold everywhere. The answer to that question is yeah. And I really don't want to throw out, it depends.
Yeah.
But I think that the answer is, yeah, it's duplicate content. That's for real. That's the thing. But how much of an impact that has on your SEO is dependent upon so many different variables. So yes, everyone who is selling this TV, for example, could have the exact same description. But if you're ranking on result 1, or if you're a selling product, or is it, I think that the case here is to work out whether it's worthwhile investing in developing your copy to make it unique, or spending that time and resource somewhere else to make your e-commerce offering better, whether that is paid search or SEO content or a search engine, or maybe user surveys, or who knows. It's tricky. Duplicate content isn't automatically a red flag, but it can be, especially in the world of e-commerce.
Yeah,
it can be.
Oh, there's actually a part 2 of the question. Also having same type of product with different model, say 20 products pages, how to avoid duplicate or thin content issue?
So I think he's talking about product variation here, where you might have 5 different sizes, 4 different colors. But this goes back to the whole canonicalization and management of parameters and duplicate URLs. There's a broader thing here. So that's not necessarily with the content. That's more about the architecture of your SEO to prevent that from happening. And there's fors and against, and again, it's horrible. But I think the way to win at this is to optimize your filters, and the way to prevent this is to ultimately prevent crawling of those variations on product pages. So the pink t-shirt is going to have the same description as the green one, which is going to have the same description of the XL size. There's no need for search engines to really see that. And that goes back to my earlier point of how PPC and SEO can work together, because Mike and his team can bid on the variances, the nuances in size and color and finish and cut and all that sort of stuff. Or SEO can focus on the parent products, which is variation free.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we have already talked about like the different features in shopping ads and how Google developed this campaign format in the last couple of years. So what do you think, Mike? How will it be in the future? Where is PPC and shopping ads are moving in the future?
Yeah, I think that it's moving towards even more frictionless commerce, more algorithms, more automation, and we're gonna have our hands full figuring out how to break what we need to break to make things work. I would say that the biggest change is we've seen a lot of adoption of automated real-time bidding, lots of buzzword AI type of programs, but at the end of the day, there's always going to be people like Luke and I who are willing to say, all right, Google is saying to do this, but there's other things that are important besides automating our entire lives. And clients are always going to be looking for ways to grow their business and have a leg up on competitors. So I think the future is we're going to have a push-pull where the platforms are going to automate more and hopefully lift smaller businesses that don't maybe have as much time to invest in the services they need to grow. But then we're also going to still have our ways to hack together new strategies and new ways to teach the algorithms what we want it to do. So that's what I imagine we're going to see a lot more of.
Thank you. And I think like in the future, hopefully with these webinars and also other contents and information spread around, we believe that like in the future, really like PPCs, SEOs, product managers, devs, and everything, like also like social media managers, hopefully they will work together towards the same goal. And once like this lifetime value reports are really like solved, and the reporting data analysis, understanding user behavior is solved, I think that's the future. And this will really change our mindset and how we look at things. Definitely. So I think we finished. It's already, we are on time. And thank you very much for joining our webinar. And
cheers, guys. It's been awesome.
So
thanks for joining.
You both agree that SEOs and PPCs should work more together, right?
Best friends.
Yeah. Best friends, exactly. Okay, Luke.
No, I think yeah, for sure. I should have that. I'm product managers.
Okay, product managers. Yeah, sure. So thank you very much, and hope to see you soon at another webinar.
Take care, guys.
Bye. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.